FM22 is finally out, and today we have our first tactic. Today's video is all about Julian Nagelsmann's tactic at Bayern in Football Manager 2022. We are going to analyse that, then we're going to replicate that and check out the results. Spoiler alert, it did very well. So of course we're going to try and capture the key movements from real life from the Bayern Munich tactic, and we do want to capture Lewandowski's form as well. That's going to be very important and interesting to see how well we do. Joshua Kimmich as well, we want to see how well we can fit these players into Bayern Munich's system in Football Manager. So before we get stuck into things, make sure you are subscribed, make sure you like the video, and also leave a comment if you have any tactical recommendations. But also this video is sponsored by OneFootball, so make sure you check out this app. OneFootball and the RDF Tactics channel have chosen to collab once again. Downloading this app would help this channel out in many ways, but why exactly should you download it? The OneFootball app is an excellent app for football fans. It's the best place to check recent news, legally watch matches, yes, for free, and you can follow your team and be notified when something major happens. It's also great to check out the latest transfer rumours, and if you're like me, you don't want to miss out on any rumours. Transfer season can be fun. Once all the league starts up as well, it's a great app to check statistics. This channel creates recreations. Using the OneFootball app helps grab vital stats, but also you will have access to team lineups before the football match starts. This is a great app if you want to follow football around the world or get the latest news just on your team. So make sure you try it out, but it does also help this channel out a lot and gives it many great opportunities to grow. So give it a go, and I promise you won't regret it. Nagelsmann's 4-2-3-1 looks very similar in application to Flick's in terms of both functionality and personnel. But in truth, it rarely ever looks like a 4-2-3-1, this system. While it is true that this is Bayern's most common defensive shape, it is also true that they rarely have to defend in their matches. Instead, they spend much of their time playing in what resembles more of a 3-1-5-1, with players roaming around in attack and looking to receive in between the lines of the opposition. Nagelsmann's team play out from the back using a 3+1 shape. That includes the two central defenders, the right back, and the defensive midfielder, Joshua Kimmich. This allows Alphonso Davies to constantly start from a higher, wider position, where he can then go and do his best damage in attack. Leroy Sané as the left winger in the team will then invert into central areas, and Serge Gnabry may do the same. All of this allows Thomas Müller and Leon Goretzka to roam around as they please and interpret space whenever they see best serving the team in the moment. Müller, for example, may drift out to the wide right to receive, particularly when Gnabry floats inside. While Bayern Munich have scored a remarkable 29 goals this season so far, their build-up has remained relatively patient. The centre-backs pass the ball around to each other, looking for the best routes forward into Kimmich and into players further up the field. While short passes are the dogmatic methodology, long passes are also used to quickly spring to an attack, catch an opponent off guard, or switch play to the other side. Joshua Kimmich's position from deep is one of the most important facets of Bayern's game, and one that allows them to constantly be in a cycle of chance creation. When you add Leon Goretzka's excellent and rampaging movement from deep into the box and the adaptness of someone like Müller or Sané to caress a ball down on a one touch, Bayern can truly score goals from any direction. Nagelsmann's Bayern operate under a high amount of positional freedom, fluctuation and rotation. This benefits a player with the adaptness like Thomas Müller, as already mentioned, but also makes life incredibly difficult for the opposition in trying to stop everyone else. Regardless who is out wide or who is inside, Bayern will often guide their attacks to the wider areas with players like Sané and Davies or Müller and Gnabry in close proximity to make magic happen. We then see an array of overlapping and underlapping runs around the player with the ball as Bayern step up their speed to play out and look to progress vertically but also diagonally into the penalty area for an on-rushing attacker. In these situations, they also use bounce passes to unlock the opposition's defense, allowing a player seemingly blocked by three defenders to suddenly find space in behind. This use of width and mobility is absolutely essential to the way Bayern play and how they score so many goals. Once in the final third, it's also important to note how quickly they flood the box in numbers. Bayern are often able to catch flat-footed defenders off guard as they swiftly move the ball around the penalty area with ease and get on the end of low-driven crosses from the right, a Joshua Kimmich high flyer, or a whipped ball in from Davis on the left. In transition, they are equally deadly, looking for the quickest route to go and often finding it through adamantly playing into the attackers at speed. They have completed a remarkable of 4 through balls per game this season, even despite their long passing game being a major feature. Julian Nagelsmann's team hunt the ball back in numbers, looking to press from the front and restart their attacks. They have the 4th highest ratio of tackles per game at 17.4, despite also topping the table in possession, 62.8%, and accumulating the least amount of fouls per game, 8.5. This suggests that Nagelsmann's men are incredibly effective at winning the ball back after putting pressure on their opponent, and at timing their tackles to perfection. Since Alphonso Davies often starts very high in attack, Bayern's pressing shape often looks a bit like a 3-4-3 or a 3-4-2-1, with Leroy Sané pushing up alongside Thomas Müller and Lewandowski. Sané's role in this is also aided by the fact that he's often inverted on the left in attack, with Müller rotating nicely with Gnabry on the other side. In longer spells without the ball, they may drop into more of a 4-2-3-1 or 4-2-2-2 pressing shape, as Müller and Lewandowski work more as a tandem duo. When it comes to the type of press, Nagelsmann's Bayern could be considered deploying more of a man-orientated press. This means that Bayern players usually have a player in which it is their duty to stop, giving each individual a clear sense of their role in their structure. Whether it's this approach or just an increase in intensity, Nagelsmann's team have completed 2.4 tackles per game more than they did under Hansi Flick, a noticeable difference to an already high-pressing team. But unfortunately, that wraps up the tactical analysis. We are now going to go into Football Manager to have a look at the replicated tactic for Nagelsmann and Bayern Munich, and we're also going to see how well Bayern Munich did using that tactic. So for now, let's head over to Football Manager 2022. So here we are in the brand new Football Manager 2022. This is the tactics screen, this is what it looks like, and of course, if we go to create a new tactic, a 5-3-2, you now see that very popular wide centre back role. But we are using a 4-2-3-1 today, which doesn't include that wide centre back role. We will save that role for another video. But this tactic here on the screen that you are looking at right now is all about Julian Nagelsmann's Bayern Munich. It's a 4-2-3-1. So we're going to have a look at the team instructions, the player roles and instructions, and then we will look at the results and see how well Bayern Munich did using this tactic. So for the team mentality, we are using that positive mentality, aiming to knock the ball about and be a little bit more patient in possession. The attacking width is set to fairly narrow, so we are going to channel our play generally in those central areas, try and build up vertically, and in the approach play we are going to pass the ball into space because Bayern Munich are very good at their through balls this year. To try and get that mix of overlapping and underlapping, of course you can't do both underlap and overlap on the left side, so what I did is I overlap on the left because Alphonso Davies will be that wing back attacking, and then on the right side we do have an underlap where Thomas Müller may be able to underlap Serge Gnabry. We will also focus our play down those wider areas, trying to get those overloads in those wider areas, trying to get those triangles popping off, and the passing directness is set to shorter with the tempo set to lower, being more patient during the build-up. In transition, when the possession has been won, of course we are going to counter press, trying to win the ball back as soon as possible. When possession has been lost, we are going to make our counter movements, hit the team on the counter attack. When the goalkeeper is in possession, he will look to distribute the ball quickly, look for the centre backs, and he will be taking short kicks majority of the time. Out of possession, we are using a higher line of engagement, a much higher defensive line. For the marking and tackling, we are using the tighter marking. The pressing trigger is on much more urgent, preventing the short goalkeeper distribution. But for the tackling, we're neither staying on our feet or getting stuck in. So that there is the team instructions. Now for the player roles and their instructions. In goal for Manuel Neuer, we do have the sweeper keeper on the attacking duty. At left back, we have a wing back on the attacking duty for Alphonso Davies. And for the right back, we do have the fullback on support. So really we want to build up with that 3+1 shape, and generally we just want that 3 at the back shape. We can't really get that unless we use a defensive mentality or defensive duty, and for me this was far too defensive and it kind of messed with the balance of the tactic completely. So we are using the supportive duty, but to try and get that player to be more narrower and to hold his position, those are the instructions that we will be using. In central defence, we have 2 ball playing defenders, but one is actually a cover as well. I find that works very nice, and both of the central defenders will be dribbling with the ball more often. In central midfield, we have a deep line playmaker on that defensive duty, trying to replicate that Joshua Kimmich role, which is of course going to be very hard to replicate. And then for Leon Goretzka, we do have the box-to-box midfielder, someone that's just going to be roaming around from their position. In the attacking midfield areas on both flanks, we have 2 inverted wingers, both of them on the supportive duty. They are instructed to hold up the ball, and I'll tell you why. Them holding up the ball increases or kind of improves the effectiveness of both the underlaps and the overlaps. So once they get the ball, though they are already looking for the overlap and the underlap, holding up the ball just makes them look for it even more. And in attacking midfield, we do have the advanced playmaker, that Thomas Müller role. He's going to be moving into channels and tackling harder. If you want to really replicate it, you can go roam from position. I didn't really notice a difference using it or without, or I should say with or without. I'm guessing the positive mentality, naturally they are going to be roaming around from their position a little more often. Lastly, up top, for that Lewandowski role, there's a few or a couple roles that we could have went with. I went with a pressing forward. I feel you could have went with a complete forward. Tactically, he's kind of doing anything that he wants. So if you read the description, such a player transcends tactical instructions and should simply be allowed to do their own thing, which is something that we really don't want Lewandowski to do. We want him to still be involved in the tactical eye there. So I have given him that pressing forward role. That there is the Football Manager Bayern Munich tactic, that Julian Nagelsmann 4-2-3-1. We are now going to look at the results to see how well or how bad Bayern Munich did using this tactic. So let's look at the results. So looking at the competitions, it done very well. In the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich were the Bundesliga champions. They played 34, they won 32. They drew 1, meaning they must have lost 1. A goal difference of +77 and the points tally on 97. In the Champions League, Bayern Munich were the winners. We won 3-1 against Liverpool, or we beat Liverpool 3-1 I should say. Lewandowski scored 12 goals in the Champions League. In the DFB Pokal, we got knocked out in the semi-final by Borussia Dortmund, and in the German Super Cup, we were the winners. But if we look at the stats in the Bundesliga, well, if it wants to load. So here we are in the stats overview. Now I'm not actually going to select on these stats because it takes forever to open. It must be a bug in the beta version, but you can see here, look, once I click on something, it really doesn't react. So for the most points per game, it is FC Bayern, of course. We top the table. For the most goals we scored, look, it's just changed. For the most goals, we scored 90 goals in the league. We had the most shots for with 739. Fewer shots against, it is FC Bayern, but for the best pass completion, it's Union Berlin. They also have the most average possession as well, which is kind of surprising. For the most tackles won, it is Mainz 0-5. For the most dribbles made, it is FC Bayern. Here we can see the average possession. We had 51% of the ball. For the most clean sheets, it is FC Bayern with 22. And for the fewest conceded, FC Bayern with 13. Now for the player stats, as we can see, Lewandowski topped the table with 28 goals. He did have the most shots. He had the most player of the match awards, most key passes, Joshua Kimmich. For the best pass completion, it's Tab Solba on 98%. Most tackles won, Aaron Martin on 100. Most dribbles made, Alphonso Davies with 147. Most clean sheets, Manuel Neuer. And the fewest conceded, is Manuel Neuer. But we can have a look now at the data hub. So let's look at the data hub and we can see some nice stats here. We can see the passing map from our last game, a lot of circulation between our two centre backs and also with Joshua Kimmich, which is what we really want to see. And you can see the ball being played out wide as well to the wide men. We can see Joshua Kimmich playing out wide, probably a little bit too wide, because we do want that free at the back kind of sort of shape there. And we do have Thomas Müller operating behind Lewandowski. We've got Leroy Sané wide out on the right, but of course once he receives the ball he will cut inside. And on the left we had Lucas Hernandez operating in that wide area. Looking at the Bundesliga scoring report, you can see that we were high scoring, but we were also having some high quality shooting as well. We were very good in front of goals, scoring 90 goals. So if we just go to team and we can ask for something as well. So for our defensive efficiency, we were quiet in defense and impenetrable as well. We conceded little, but we were also faced with little as well. So defensively, we were very good as we expected. For our defensive actions, most of it came around in our penalty box, but also in that mid third, which again is very good to see. So we are pressing very nicely. And also something very nice to show you, as we can see Joshua Kimmich was highly creative and a high assister in the Bundesliga. So that is very good. That is exactly what we want from Joshua Kimmich in central midfield. And if we look at scoring, we do want to see Leon Goretzka kind of high up, and which he is. He is in that high scoring, high quality shooting area along with Thomas Müller and Marcel Sabitzer. When looking at the tackling, our midfielders, they kind of had to make fewer tackles as we were on the ball most of the time. But we can see for the high quality of tacklers, Joshua Kimmich is there, Marcel Sabitzer and Mark Roca, along with Corentin Tolisso as well when he did play. And again, something very nice to show you guys as well. This is something new in Football Manager. Looking at the goal output for our forwards. As we can see, Leroy Sané, he was a high quality shooter and a high assister. Kingsley Coman right on the edge, as well as Serge Gnabry. But we can see Choupo-Moting, he was a very high quality shooter and a high assister, but more on the creative side, whilst Lewandowski was a high quality shooter and a high assister, but more on the high quality shooting side. That was some very nice data for you to look at. Now we can go to the squad stats to see the top goal scorers and the highest assists in all of the competitions. So as we can see, Lewandowski scored 48 goals in 41 starts. Leroy Sané scored 15 goals. So did Leon Goretzka from central midfield, which is very good. Kingsley Coman scored 14 goals in 20 starts. Thomas Müller has 13 and Jamal Musiala has 10. For the high assist is Leroy Sané with 16, Alphonso Davies with 13, Joshua Kimmich with 12, Lewandowski with 12, Lewandowski was on fire, Serge Gnabry with 10, we can see Thomas Müller on 8, Goretzka with Musiala on 7. The best rated players was Lewandowski, Alphonso Davies and Joshua Kimmich. Those were the top 3 at Bayern Munich. No surprise, absolutely no surprise. But sorry for the dance. That wraps up this video and tactical analysis. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Don't forget, if you are enjoying my type of content, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like the video. Also leave a comment with any tactical recommendations. I will see you guys soon. This analysis was written by the Mastermind. This video is sponsored by OneFootball as well. Make sure you check out that app. I will see you guys soon. Stay safe. Peace out.